The desert moon of Calrix-9 never saw rain. Its cracked white plains stretched for thousands of kilometers, a quiet graveyard of ancient bones, rusted ship pieces, and the forgotten screams of those who had died beneath its blazing twin suns. But on this particular day, one scream still lingered, weak, ragged. And on the edge of silence, a dragon lay collapsed in the dust. Her silver scales were dulled by sand and blood. Chains of alien alloy dug deep into her wings. Every breath rattled as though dragged through gravel. Worst of all, her tongue long, once powerful now, hung dry and cracked from her mouth. The aliens who captured her, the merciless Corthier Dominion, had left her bound to die slowly of heat and thirst after weeks of torture. They had enjoyed her suffering. She had stopped screaming days ago, but fate wasn't finished with her. A lone shadow crossed the horizon. Not a beast, not a hunter. A human discovered boots, a dented backpack, and a stubborn determination that seemed almost out of place on this deadly moon. His name was Asher Kane, a 19-year-old engineer from a backwater colony. He had crashed his survey ship 2 days earlier, barely surviving. He was exhausted, hungry, and sunburned, but still moving forward. He had heard a faint roar last night. Something in him refused to ignore it. Now he stood before the dying dragon, her massive amber eye cracked open, focusing on him with a mixture of fear and fury. Even dying, she tried to lift her head in warning. Asher raised both hands slowly. Easy. I'm not here to hurt you. The dragon's voice was a broken whisper across his mind. Leave, human. I will not survive. Do not waste your life. He blinked. Telepathic. Okay, that's new. Her pupils narrowed. Go. Asher dropped to one knee beside her snout. The heat radiating from her scales was nearly unbearable. Look, he said softly. I'm stranded too. We either die alone, or maybe we survive together. The dragon made a sound halfway between a scoff and a cough of pain. Foolish. But Asher was already pulling a metal flask from his bag. His last ration of water, barely a few sips. He hesitated only for a moment, then uncapped it and stepped forward. Her eye widened. Human? No. You will not. I'm not watching you die, he said firmly. Open your mouth, the dragon. Despite decades of warrior pride, despite the mental vows she'd made never to kneel to any species, could not resist the instinctual desperation. Her tongue trembled as she obeyed. Asher poured the last drops onto her dry tongue. The reaction was immediate. Her body shuddered, heat pulsing as the moisture revived a spark inside her. It wasn't enough to heal her, not even close, but for the first time in days, she felt life. A single tear slipped from her enormous eye. Why? Why would a human give water to an enemy? Asher shrugged. Everyone has the right to live, even dragons. He didn't notice the small drone watching from behind a dune, but the Corthier did. And they returned. The sky filled with shadows as their skiffs descended, sleek metal ships marked with crimson sigils. Asher instinctively stepped in front of the dragon. Even though she could no longer fight, a Corthier commander emerged, towering on digitigrade legs, wearing living armor that pulsed like a heartbeat. Well, the alien hissed. A human insect tending our prisoner. Asher clenched his fists. She's not yours. And you're not taking her, the Corthier laughed. Human, your species is fragile. Why throw your life away for a dying beast? Before Asher could answer, the dragon's voice echoed in his head, weak, desperate. Run, please. You have given more than I deserve. Live. He shook his head. No, not leaving you. With no weapons, but a rusted metal bar he'd scavenged from his ship, Asher charged. The Corthier commander almost looked amused as he swung his spear. Asher barely dodged, rolling through the dust, swinging wildly. The bar cracked against alien armor, actually denting it. The commander snarled, "You insignificant," before he could strike. A roar shook the desert. The dragon's wings flared, chains snapping as her muscles surged with newfound energy. The water had given her enough strength to fight one last time. She lunged. The commander was crushed beneath her claws, Heia's armor screaming as bone and metal were ground into the sand. The other courtier opened fire, plasma bolts lighting the sky. Asher dove behind her massive forelimb as she shielded him with her body. Plasma scorched her scales. She roared in agony, but stood her ground. "You don't have to do this," Asher cried. Through the pain, she replied, "You gave me life. I will not let them take yours." With a final, earth-shaking roar, she unleashed a burst of flame so bright it turned the air white. The entire squad of courtier was reduced to molten shadows. When silence returned, she collapsed again, trembling, smoking, but alive. Barely. Asher ran to her side. "Hey! Stay with me." "Human Asher." Her voice was fading. "You are unlike any your species. You showed mercy, compassion, even to a creature feared across star systems. As long as you're breathing, I'm not giving up on you." He worked furiously, repairing her wounds with patches from his crash kit, breaking off the last chains with improvised tools, dragging shadecloth over her to shield her from the suns. Hours passed. Asher didn't stop, and slowly, the dragon's breathing steadied. Night fell. She raised her head, now stronger, gazing at the young human who refused to abandon her. "You saved me, at the cost of everything you had." "Why?" Asher smiled weakly. "Because someone has to break the cycle of cruelty. Maybe it starts here." The dragon lowered her massive head until it rested beside him. "My name is Seraphine, last of the Silver Flight. If I survive these wounds, you will not walk this galaxy alone again. You have earned a lifelong ally." He leaned against her warm scales, exhaustion finally claiming him. "That's good to know." In the morning, the suns rose over Calrix 9, and for the first time in centuries, a dragon and a human walked side by side, one enormous, majestic, and reborn, the other small, fragile, and impossibly brave. Together, they left the desert behind, and together they would shake the galaxy.